Let's begin first with direct effect. Now, the principle was first mentioned and created in a case called Van Genden-Loos. And direct effect is essentially where a law is passed by the EU, and this is effective in a member state without the need for that member state to implement the law through domestic legislation. So if we take this as an example, if there's EU law that has been passed down from the Parliament and the Council and it now becomes law, and that can be enforced in a country such as Italy by EU citizens themselves. Italy doesn't need to enact a domestic act of parliament to say that this European law is an act of parliament. Those Italian citizens can rely on that directive or that regulation from the EU against the Italian government without it being domestic law. And so this is why we have this direct connection between the EU institutions and their citizens as union citizens. However, there is a caveat, and the three caveats specifically are that laws can only be directly effective, as in you can only make use of this provision if they are sufficiently clear and precise, so there's no ambiguity regarding the EU legislation itself. They're unconditional, which means that you don't need to apply them with conditions on top. And it can only be relied on directly if the member state, such as Italy, has either failed to implement that European law in the required time period or it's implemented it incorrectly. When you go on to the subject and you research further, you'll find that it's not always as easy as it seems, and there are some other hurdles to go through. But the idea is that there is some sort of cooperation between an EU citizen and an EU institution. And it's not just the case that the member state has to act as a stopgap every time a piece of European legislation is issued.